Duration of the Dhamma. Revered Nagasena, it has been said by the Blessed One, Ananda, the true Dhamma will last now for only 500 years. But on the other hand, the Blessed One declared just before he passed away, in response to a question put by the recluse Subhadda, if these monks were to live rightly, the world might not be empty of arahats. If the first of these statements is correct, the second is misleading. If the second is right, the first must be false. This too is a double-pronged question. Thicker than a thicket, more powerful than a strong man, more knotty than a knot, it is now put to you. Show the power of your knowledge like a sea monster in the midst of the ocean. The Blessed One, Sire, did make both statements you have quoted, but they are different from one another, both in the spirit and in the letter. The one deals with the duration of the dispensation, the other illustrates the practice of the religious life. Two things widely distinct, as far removed from the other as the zenith is from the surface of the earth. As heaven is from hell, as good is from evil, and as pleasure is from pain. But though that be so, yet lest your inquiry be in vain, I will expound the matter further in its essential connection. When the Blessed One said that the true Dhamma will last for only 500 years, then while illustrating its destruction, he delimited the remainder of its existence, saying, Ananda, the true Dhamma would last for 1,000 years if nuns had not gone forth. But Ananda, the true Dhamma will last now for only 500 years. Yet, Sire, while the Blessed One was speaking thus, did he speak of the disappearance of the true Dhamma, or did he pour scorn on the understanding of it? No, revered Sir. Declaring and illustrating what was lost, he delimited the remainder of its existence. Suppose, Sire, a man whose property had been diminished might announce publicly, making sure of what remained. So much property have I lost, so much is still left. Even so, Sire, the Blessed One, illustrating what was lost, spoke to Devas and mankind of what remained, saying, Ananda, the true Dhamma will last now for only 500 years. This refers to a time limit for the teaching. On the other hand, when he told Subhadda, if these monks, Subhadda, were to live rightly, the world might not be empty of arahats. The Blessed One was giving an illustration of the practice of the teaching. You have confounded the limitation of the teaching with the practice of the teaching. You have confounded the limitation of the teaching with the practice of the teaching. If you wish, I will tell you about the real connection between the two. Listen carefully. Pay attention with a trustful mind. Suppose, Sire, there is a reservoir full of fresh clean water, overflowing at the brim, bounded by an embankment. If the water in the reservoir had not dried up, and a great cloud above should pour down heavily and continuous rain, would the water in the reservoir be exhausted or exhausted and dried up? No, revered Sir. For what reason, Sire? Revered Sir, because of the continuous downpour of rain from that cloud. Even so, Sire, the reservoir of excellent true Dhamma in the Conqueror's teaching is full of fresh and stainless waters of good behavior, morality, special qualities, right custom and practice, and overflowing. It endures, having surpassed the acme of becoming. If the sons of the Buddha were to make the rain of the cloud of good behavior, morality, special qualities, and right custom, and practice pour down heavily and continuously, so would this reservoir of the excellent true Dhamma in the conqueror's teaching last for a very long time, and the world would not be empty of arahats. This was the meaning of the Blessed One's words. Then he said, and if these monks, Subhadra, were to live rightly, the world might not be empty of arahats. If, sire, people were to continually supply a mighty mass of fire with dry raw cow dung, dry sticks and dry grass, would that mass of fire go out? No, revered sir. More and more would that mass of fire burn, more and more would it blaze forth. Even so, sire, the excellent teaching of the conqueror blazes forth in the 10,000 world system. Through good behavior, morality, special qualities, right custom, and practice. If the sons of the Buddha, endowed with the 5 factors of striving and constantly diligent, should strive still more, and if with desire aroused, they should strain themselves in 3 trainings and should fulfill completely the moral precepts, both in acting and avoiding, so would the excellent teaching of the conqueror last to a still higher degree for a very long time, and the world might not be empty of arahats. This was the meaning of the Blessed One's words when he said, and if the monks Subhadra were to live rightly, the world might not be empty of arahats. If, sire, people were to continually polish with fine soft red powder a stainless mirror that was already bright and shining, well polished, smooth and glossy, would dirt and dust and mud arise on its surface? No, revered sir. On the contrary, it would become even more stainless than before. Even so, sire, stainless by nature is the excellent teaching of the conqueror. Dispelled are the dust and the dirt and the stain of the defilements. If the sons of the Buddha were to be submissive to the excellent teaching of the conqueror by means of good behavior, morality, special qualities, right custom and practice, and the special quality of submissiveness and austerity, so would this excellent teaching of the conqueror last a long time, and the world would not be empty of arahats. This was the meaning of the Blessed One's words when he said, and if the monks Subhadra were to live rightly, the world might not be empty of arahats. Grounded on practice, sire, is the dispensation of the teacher. In practice is its essence. It will last so long as practice does not disappear. Revered Nagasena, when you speak of the disappearance of the true Dhamma, what is this disappearance of the true Dhamma? There are, sire, these 3 modes of disappearance of the teaching. There is the disappearance of spiritual realization, the disappearance of its practice, and the disappearance of its outward sign. When spiritual realization disappears, there is no understanding of the Dhamma, even for one who is faring along properly. When the practice disappears, the promulgation of the rules of training disappears. Only the outward sign remains. When the outward sign disappears, there is a break in the tradition. These, sire, are the 3 modes of disappearance. Revered Nagasena, the profound question that was properly formulated has been made clear. The knot is severed, destroyed. Destroyed are the tenets of others, shattered and without splendor. You have come to be the foremost among teachers of schools.